from the beginning till the last moment of your interview, you kept your momentum, tempo at the same rate. But the only thing is, as far as your state is concerned, you stand a good chance.
Madam, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Thank you.
Take your seat. What's your name?
Sir, my name is Jitender Chandel.
Okay. Tell us something about yourself, your family background, and your educational motivation.
Sir, as I already told, my name is Jitender Chandel. I am from Kandarao town of Bilaspur district of Himachal Pradesh. I did my elementary education from my hometown. My school was Swami Vivekanand Memorial Public Senior Secondary School, Kandarao. Then I did my 10th and my plus 1 and plus 2 from Minerva Senior Secondary School, Gumarvi. After that, ma'am, I did my graduation from Government Postgraduate College, Bilaspur. For my masters, I came to the Department of Zoology, Punjab University, and I completed my masters in the year 2019. After that, I cleared CSIR UGC NET JRF, and I joined PhD in year 2020. And since 2020, I am pursuing my PhD. Sir, my father, Shri Santosh Chandel, is a self-employed person. He works as a mechanic at Dharla Ghat. I have my mother is a housewife, Shrimati Kamlesh Chandel. I have two brothers. Both of them are in the same business, helping my father. Both of them are married also.
What about you?
I am not married yet.
My first question is, you have done master's in zoology and pursuing PhD in biochemistry. Why there is a shift from zoology to biochemistry?
Sir, actually, I wanted to do it in zoology only, but in the Department of Zoology, there was no vacancy at the time when I was to join PhD. And I also got to know about my current guide, Dr. Amarjit Singh Nora. He has a very good lab in the biochemistry department here. So I thought of shifting to the department.
You shifted to biochemistry only because there was no vacancy.
Yes, sir.
What was your interest?
Sir, actually, in last few years, in the life sciences, we have seen there is a homogeneity coming to the field. So it does not really matter now that in which specialization you are doing PhD from. The work almost remains same. There are same techniques that are used, and most of the work goes at the molecular level. So it does not really matter which subject you are choosing. It's only about what you want to work upon that really matters, and according to that you join the lab.
So how biochemistry is different from organic, inorganic, and applied chemistry?
So the basics remain the same. We study the role of chemicals and chemistry in the life sciences, that how chemistry leads to life. Actually, what we say is that chemistry is the basis of life. So we study that how, for example, if we see enzymes, what they are doing in our body, what their function, if there is some problem in them, then what diseases happen. So we work upon that.
Okay. Okay, you have just mentioned Buddhism. Its original place in India, but presently it's prevalent in most of the South Asian country and East. Okay, what's the reason behind it?
Sir, in India, I think what we say sorry, sir, can I take 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Sir, I think the rise of Bhakti movement in Hinduism and revivalism in Hinduism led to the decline of Buddhism. So when Bhakti movement happened in South India and it came to North India, there was a decline seen in Buddhism as people started to go back to their roots in Hinduism. There is also lack of patronage for Buddhism from kings, which was earlier present. For example, we see Ashoka the Great and even Guptas also supported. But after Harshvardhana's empire's decline, there was a decline in the patronage given to Buddhism. So due to that, the Buddhism slowly lost the contact with the people.
How is flourishing in Eastern and Southeast Asian countries?
Sir, it is believed that Ashoka the Great was the first to take Buddhism to these countries. Sir, I think there was lack of other ideas there which developed in India, but not in those countries. So it stayed less touched by other ideas. So, sir, I think that's why it is still prevalent in those countries. Yes.
As far as international relations are concerned, war is going on between Ukraine and Russia. So, what is the role of United Nations as far as this war is concerned?
Sir, United Nations, particularly United Nations Security Council, should have played the central role in de-escalating the situation. But we have seen this over the years that the veto powers that the P5, that the permanent five have in United Nations Security Councils, make the councils dysfunctional. So whenever there is a resolution, either one of the country vetoes against it. Russia is itself in the United Nations and crippling its functioning by vetoing against the resolutions of UN.
Are you in the habit of reading newspaper?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday there was a news item that China is going to build the largest dam as far as Brahmaputra is concerned.
Yes, sir.
Do you think it's going to be a security threat to our country or other major issues?
Yes, sir. I think it would be a security concern for India. So China's plan is to build the biggest dam in the world. So it will store a large amount of water. So if there is a escalation of situations between India and China, China could either stop the flow of water, or if a situation even get worse, then it also has the choice to release the water to flood the Indian states in the northeast. So it would stay a issue for India.
You know, in 2019, Article 370 was abrogated. Okay. Now the elections have been held in J&K and there is a elected government. So they are asking for statehood. What do you think? Whether the statehood should be given or it should be directly under the control of the center, because it's a very volatile state, you know.
Sir, it is true that J&K have been a volatile state since the independence after 1948. But sir, I think taking away the statehood and making a full-fledged state a union territory is not a good option, because statehood and even the lower levels of democracy such as local governments, they provide people the opportunity to choose their leaders, to hold them accountable. So I think, sir, giving statehood is a better option, but security could be more looked upon. The state should be given the responsibility to maintain a better situation in terms of security there.
You know, after this abrogation, certain schemes which were sanctioned by the government, they were made applicable as far as the state is concerned. Now, when the statehood is given to that, they will say, we don't want to adopt this policy as far as the RT is concerned, reservation is concerned. And secondly, the tenure of the assembly is, in other states, it's 5 years, and in JNK, it was 6 years. What do you think?
Sir, I think
state is going to face the same situation if statehood is given to.
Sir, I think after the abrogation of Article 370, the special status would not be there. So the provisions that are applicable to rest of India will be applicable there. So having a different kind of setup there would not be there, even if the state is given statehood. Sir, in matter of reservation, there is people doing protests these days, saying that the official reservation has crossed the 50% limit. So that is really should be looked upon, as Supreme Court has put a cap of 50% on that.
What is cloning?
Sir, cloning is a biotechnological technique in which we create organisms which are identical copies of their parents.
But there's a lot of hue and cry going on in the countries abroad, I mean, particularly the Western countries, that this is against the church, the spirit of the church. What is your take on this? I mean, what do you think, would it be helpful for the system as a whole, or what would be the advantages or disadvantages of cloning per se?
Sir, the basic resistance against cloning is that it breaks the normal cycle of life. There is no need of two partners to come together to reproduce. So what we can take is we can take a cell from one individual, we remove its genetic material and put the genetic material of parents. So the child will be the identical copy of the parent. So this is the basic objective of cloning. So the church and the society mainly goes against it.
Test tube babies and cloning and is something correlated, or you differentiate between cloning, test tube babies, and mothering without a marriage or something like that? I mean, how do you explain these three processes? So now we have these areas which are now taking concern in a system. Like cloning is one, as you said, and the others are like test tube babies. Others are, your mothering without marriage.
Sir, so if we go one by one, sir, test tube baby is like having a baby without a sexual intercourse. So the egg is taken from the mother, sperms are taken from the father, and they are fused together in a test tube or in laboratory conditions. Then they grow to a certain stage there, and then they are transferred to the mother. The mother could be surrogate mother, as you told the mother.
Surrogacy, yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Yes, sir. So it could be surrogate mother or it could be the original mother from which egg was taken, depending on the medical problems.
And what is the cloning? How do you?
Sir, in cloning, a normal cell is taken from the parents. So what happens in normal reproduction? Some genetic material comes from father, some genetic material comes from mother, and they combine, so a new combination is formed. But in cloning, the genetic material is only from one parent. So the child that will be produced will only be having identical genetic material as the parent.
Without fertility, it would happen?
Yes, sir, it could happen.
Oh, achha, that's quite a news for me.
The rest of the process is same. The zygote is grown in the laboratory and then it is transferred to a surrogate mother.
Okay. Now let's come to these. Now there's a lot of talk. Every day we hear that free electricity, free food, free transfer of money to farmers. Earlier they would call it subsidy. And now they say it comes in the form of free, freebies they call it. So what is your view on this? Whether it's the right way to utilize the budget, of the state exchequer being spent like this, or how do you explain this, or what are your views on this?
Sir, looking at the economic situation of Himachal in the last few years, I think there is need.
No, let's talk generally. I'm not talking about Himachal as a nation we can talk. Like why this trend of has started? It is now catching, or why it is happening?
Sir, I think the freebie culture is mainly for achieving political goals. So political parties do it to get votes from the public. Sir, what I would have...
They would in any case vote. Even if you give them free or don't give them free, they will in any case vote. They have to vote.
Yes, sir.
So, but what do you think is the utilization of the state exchequer money, which is, they say, is the taxpayers' money, whether it's the right way to do it, or you have some views on it?
Sir, I don't think it is the right way to do it.
What is, in your opinion, what's the alternative course of, which the government should resort to? It may be a state government or maybe a union government. That's...
Sir, I think there are still many poor people in India who require government support. So what we should do is rationalizing the subsidies or direct money payments. So there is a need for rationalization, targeting the schemes a little better so that the ones in need could get better benefits out of them, and not everybody is included.
What would be your model? Let's say, put it like this. Like if you, as a finance secretary of the state or of the union, what would be your model to utilize, the state exchequer money? How would you go by so that the social disparities also are reduced, the challenges of poverty are also met, So you have some model in your mind?
Sir, if I would give an example. So, sir, there is a scheme of giving 1500 rupees to all women of Himachal Pradesh. Now, although there are some conditions.
It's all kinds of, some food or some subsidy or some cash transfer or, in various forms.
Yes, sir. I'm sir just giving an example because I have an idea around it. But, so I would have liked it better if government has opened a woman-centric university out of that money. So that it would be around 500 rupees crore expenditure on this scheme. With this scheme, we can build a very good university and we can fund it very well.
So why don't people vote against these schemes? Rather, they vote for it. Why is it happening that people vote for the schemes rather than opposing? As what you're saying is that you should have an alternative rather than distributing these free monies to people.
Sir, I think people lack the vision or they lack the long-term vision in them. So they look at the immediate benefits that they are getting out of a government. If they have looked at the benefits of getting the woman educated, sir, it is a saying that one woman educated educates the whole family. So if they look at that, then they would have not voted for the freebies and rather would have voted on the issue of development, both societal as well economic. So there is a need to bring behavioral change also among public.
What is this book about? You had read 100 Suns. What is this book? This you have read 1,000 Splendid Suns. What is this book about?
Sir, this book is written by Khalid Hosseini, an Afghan writer. So sir, this book is about the struggle of two women who are struggling for their life as well as the lives of their children in Taliban after the takeover of Taliban in Afghanistan. So the women are struggling both in their house as well as in the society. So it revolves around that.
Why did you choose to read this book?
Sir, actually I have searched for some good books to read, and
how do you decide which is a good book or which is not a good book?
Sir, actually I have read a previous book of the same author. I liked it, The Kite Runner, so I went for this also.
Kite Runner. Yes, sir. So what is the story of Kite Runner?
Sir, Kite Runner starts in the era before the Taliban. So it was about two boys.
So the background in Afghanistan again. Yes, sir, yes. Okay.
So there were two children who were competing with.
What is a militia? Let's now to talk about Afghanistan. What is militia?
Sir, Taliban, even Afghanistan whole has a system of clans in their society. So the clans have been fighting with each other for a long time. So in modern eras, these small clans have divided into groups forming militia. So they are armed groups who try to capture as much land as possible. So eventually some of them becomes bigger like Taliban and control the whole country.
So how the Taliban are different than other groups? There are a couple of other groups also, but there is one group which is Taliban. So the Taliban has emerged stronger compared to others because now they are the ruling tribe, or as you are saying. So what makes them different from others? Why they have captured power compared to other groups which are there? The armed groups there.
Sir, it is usually considered that the role of ISI and Pakistan in training the Taliban militia and giving them with the...
What is their strength in Afghanistan?
Sir, they are very aggressive per se. They are fighting...
So all tribals are fighters? They're all right. What is the additional... what is the add-on on this? Why they are better than others?
Sir, they were supported by USA also in the beginning to remove the USSR from Afghanistan. So the monetary and armed help from USA as well as Pakistan made them stronger as compared to the other parties there.
Why they choose only Talibanis? Why not others?
Sorry sir, I'm not aware about it.
So I thought you had some interest about Afghanistan. Anyway, so what is this Talibani agenda? You have some idea about it?
Sir, only that I have read in newspapers. So, sir, their main focus is to bring Sharia into the Afghan territories. The Sharia is very hardliner Islamic laws, which goes to the very base of Islam.
So why should USA support these people? I mean, they are against, they are conservative people, going against the liberty and freedom, which the US otherwise supports. You say that the USA has been supporting Taliban's.
Sir, I think it is because of the Cold War between USA and USSR. So before Taliban, USSR was controlling the government in Afghanistan. As we have also seen in Syria recently, the case is almost similar. USSR is controlling the government.
Talibans were used by
USA to remove USSR.
This is what you are, in other words, trying to put it like this. Okay, you have heard about the Right to Information Act?
Sorry, sir.
Right to Information Act?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what is the Right to Information Act?
Sir, Right to Information Act provides the citizens of India to ask for any information from any government source.
Why was it required? I mean, why what do you think is, why people should know what government is doing?
Sir, governments usually do not disclose all the data to public. So, right to information is the part of the fundamental rights of Indians. So, it empowers that act and empowers the people with information.
How do you think it's empowering people with information?
Sir, if government is taking a decision and it is not disclosing why it has done so.
No, it is in the press. Sometimes we have the commentaries on the press. When the government takes a decision, there is a commentary in the press. So how do you think that right to information is an added advantage to those practices which are already there?
Sir, I think the Right to Information Act has been proven beneficial for public knowledge. For example, in the 2G scam and the coal scam. So Right to Information Act has a very central role in disclosing that information to the public.
Has it helped in building some transparency in the government or reducing some corruption?
Yes, sir. Surely it is. Sir, people could ask for any decision. For example, a contract is given to a contractor. Then any individual can ask for the criteria on which that particular contractor is selected. And then further legal actions could be taken if any information is found to not to be correct. So, sir, in that way, it empowers the citizens.
This empowers the citizen vis-a-vis the government, and that may, to some extent, go to reduce corruption.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In Himachal, we talk a lot about now the present government, there a lot of criticism is coming that the finances are not being managed properly. There's a lot of mismanagement, So what do you think is not right, or what do you think is the right thing that the government is doing vis-a-vis management of the finances of the state?
Sir, actually, finances of Himachal have been not very good for a long time now. So, I think the subsidies and the monetary benefits that are given to public are somewhat to be blamed. For example, giving discounts on fares in HRTC, which is having a loss of around 1,000 crore rupees. Also, then giving electricity subsidy to all the households. So I think, sir, government should rationalize that who is really in the need of those services. There are still people who need support, so the support should be given to them and not to everybody. People of Himachal are prosperous, the per capita income is good, so the households which are really poor and very poor should be identified, and those should be given priority with more rigor, so that they could be uplifted, and the people who are in good situation pay for their services.
Which section are these which require help?
Sir, they are in all sections, both in especially in the tribal area, peoples are in need of that. Then the lower caste peoples also, there are people who are really poor, as well as the BPL families of Himachal Pradesh.
Okay. Which are prominent hilltops in Himachal, which the high points in Himachal Himalayas. You have some idea?
Yes, sir. Sir, Rio Pergil is considered the highest point. Sir, it is in Kinnor.
Where?
In Trans-Himalayan region, in the border with Tibet and Himachal Pradesh. In that region, for example, there is Shilai, which is the second highest peak. So it is in the Trans-Himalayan region.
What do you, when we say the catchment, what does it refer to?
Sir, catchment is the area from which the water goes into the rivers.
Which is the largest catchment? Which river has the largest catchment in India? In our state. Let me put it like this.
Sir, in Himachal Pradesh?
In Himachal, yeah.
Sir, I think, I'm not sure, sir, I have to guess.
Oh, you have not looked at this. And Satluj, you have heard about?
Yes, sir.
What is the origin of Satluj river?
Sir, it is the Rakshas Tal, which is near the Mansarovar Tal in Tibet region.
Okay. So why we don't talk so much about Satluj rather than other rivers like Yamuna, Ravi, Chenab? They say we would not talk much. Like it is not worshipped like other rivers. Other rivers in Himachal are worshipped, but Satluj is not, as I understand. So why? What is the reason why?
Yes, sir. As I am also, my village is also on the bank of Satluj River, so we do worship the river.
Worship Satluj.
Yes, sir.
And the hydropower. Now there's a lot of activity on hydropower in Himachal. So what do you think is the hydropower is good for the state? Well, like you should go ahead with the hydropower, or there's a lot of NGOs now who are environment friendly people. They so to say they are opposing the hydro projects, and they say in Himachal we should go for a model with a smaller those hydropower projects on small rivers rather than going for these big dams. What is your idea? I mean, how do you?
Sir, I think hydropower is a very important source of revenue as well as source of energy for Himachal. It has helped Himachal to become a 100% renewable energy state, as well as Himachal is selling a lot of hydropower to other states. So I think, sir, hydropower is necessary for Himachal. But sir, the issue of ecological imbalance that generates from large hydro dams is also a critical topic. So I think, sir, the idea of building small hydro projects is better than going for large scale projects. As also Himalayan territory is also very unstable. A large part of Himachal is under zone 5 in Science City. So I think it is better for the government also as well as for the people to go for smaller
Source of revenue.
Yes, sir. So smaller hydro projects should be focused upon more.
So of late we have seen in the government schools, the number of students is very less because parents want their children to study in the public schools. If you are selected and you are Secretary Education, can you give me 5 hints where you can bring back the students to the government schools? What will be your policy? How will you?
Ma'am, the first would be to ensure that every school has ample number of teachers. So there were
There are plenty of teachers.
And they are trained teachers.
There are 4 teachers and 2 students.
actually, sir, in Himachal.
Teachers are not. That's not a problem.
Sir, actually in Himachal it is a problem. There were around 3,000 schools which had only one teacher. So the current government, after some appointments, have made increased the number, but it was a problem in Himachal Pradesh and it still is. So, sir, my first step, ma'am, would be to have a good number of teachers in every school. And the second would be to ensure that the teachers are of good quality. So once the teachers get the job, they usually tend to leave their passion, and they are not that dedicated to educating children.
What would you do to make them dedicated?
Maybe regular trainings even after the service, so that they stay passionate about their jobs.
Do they need incentives also, teachers? Or
Ma'am, I think it is also a good idea if their students excel in their careers, then maybe some scheme for incentives, because as we were discussing earlier, incentives are short-term benefits that attracts people more. So if maybe some monetary incentives or some promotional incentives are given based upon the students that excel in their career, so the teachers given some benefits of that, maybe this will boost the morale of teacher to do better.
what other steps will you take?
To incentivize
Attract the students to come study in the government schools.
Ma'am, can I take some time to think? Ma'am, one thing we can do is having a good alumni relation, bringing back the alumni of those schools which have succeeded in their life. So having an interaction with them, they can really motivate the students to do better. So the more students who will do better from government schools will help in attracting.
But don't you think their children are also studying in the private schools?
Yes, ma'am.
Motivate them.
Ma'am, they can motivate because they themselves had studied from a government school.
But their children are not.
Yes, ma'am, that's true. But I think they can still motivate the students that a person studying from a government school can succeed in life, so they could also do that. So in that way, I think, ma'am, this will attract.
You named the book you have read about the Thousand Suns. What was your feeling after reading this novel? About the social strata of that area and others. And what impact it had made on you?
Ma'am, what the book showed is that women are treated as property of the males in that area. Ma'am, I not from just this book. I always had this little compassionate connect with the status of women in the society. I have noticed this that women are not treated at par with men. So not by just this book, but I always has that in mind that treating women equally is necessary for building a good society.
Why they have named it Thousand Suns? Why they have named this book as Thousand Suns?
So, sir, there was a discussion about a poem in the book. The poem's title was A Thousand Splendid Sun.
What does sun refer to? I mean this.
Sir, actually, the poem was by Rumi, the famous poet. So he was, sir, वो तारीफ कर रहा था तेहरान की शायद, sir, I'm not sure, the city in Iran. He lived there. So what he said that a thousand splendid suns rise over Tehran every day.
The glorifying the nation.
Glorifying the city.
Oh.
Okay, tell me any two schemes or initiatives or amendment changes brought by Government of India as far as women development is concerned, and one or two from Himachal Pradesh.
Sir, Indian government recently brought a constitutional amendment to give 33% reservation to women in the parliament. So I think that is a good initiative to bring women to the policy formulation level.
Parliament and state assemblies also?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Panchayati Raj institutions also?
Sir, it was already there, the 33% reservation, through the 73rd constitutional amendment.
In Himachal?
Sir, in Himachal, it is, are you asking for reservation or schemes?
Women-centric schemes.
Scheme or act?
So, sir, at the local levels in Himachal, the constitution.
Is there any change of women age for marriage?
Very restricted.
Sir, that I am only aware about the law made by the parliament. There was a discussion to increase the
age of women has increased from 18 to
21. Sorry, sir, I was not aware about it.
Okay. How many women MLAs are in the Himachal Pradesh Assembly?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware of it.
Have you heard about extradition treaty? What does it mean? Treaty of extradition.
Sorry, sir, I have not read it.
Deportation. What is deportation?
Sir, deportation is sending some illegal migrant back to its country of origin.
India and Bangladesh have signed this treaty in 2013. On the same ground, on the ground of this treaty, Bangladesh is demanding Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh, extradite.
Okay.
But India is denying. So, don't you think it is violation of this treaty?
Sir, it may be a violation of this treaty, but sir, diplomacy sometimes make you do things that may not be legal, but you have to do looking at the interests of own country.
Okay, tell me history of your state, Bilaspur. Why it was named as Kehlur?
So, sir, Bilaspur state was founded by King Bir Chand in the 9th century. There was a Gujar named Kehlu who showed him the place where a leopard was not able to kill a goat. This is a story around it. And the king found the statue of Ma Naina Devi there. So, and then he built the Naina Devi temple there. So, in honoring that Kehlu, he named his state Kehlur. But sir, there is also another story that another king named Kehal Chand who built the Kot Kehlur fort. So it is also said that maybe it was named after him. But the first story is more considered true.